Hello, I'm Coach Darren Slack for Ask NFA. Again, we want to thank everyone for the great questions they've been sending in. Please be thinking about what you'd like us to address in future Ask NFA podcasts. During this episode, we will discuss an important question from a parent who asked, Coach Slack, do you recommend transferring to a larger school to improve a quarterback's recruiting stock? Now, it's true that the level of competition you play at your school heavily influences the perception of college coaches when it comes to whether or not they believe you can compete at their level. Depending on their NCAA classification, college coaches may feel that while a player may have excelled at a smaller school, it wasn't enough to demonstrate a competitive skill set equal to the level of their expectation at their school. Now, does this mean that the athlete should automatically leave their small school for a bigger one? Absolutely not. There are dozens of factors that influence the decision of a college coach, especially if it's a quarterback. So let's talk about a few of them. A higher level of competition on game day will demonstrate to the college coach that the quarterback can compete on a bigger stage, earn a tougher position, and operate under pressure. But it doesn't mean they won't offer a smaller school quarterback if he has the capacity to excel. He has the tools to compete at a higher level. However, if the quarterback plays for a smaller school, the decision will typically be increasingly dependent on the college coach having an opportunity to meet and observe the quarterback on their campus. What this means is you'll have to attend one-day camps, evaluations, and programs where you can meet the coach. They'll seek to identify leadership skills, arm power, accuracy, foot speed, character, and competitiveness during the camp, which gives them the confidence beyond the game film that they can offer a smaller school player. Some of these traits are more assumed if a quarterback competes at a higher level school against tougher competition. It doesn't mean the college coach doesn't want to confirm the same things in the higher classification quarterback at the camp. It's just going to be a slight advantage for them if there's a smaller school quarterback present at the same time as a larger school quarterback. I think it's fair to say that the smaller school quarterback will immediately have more to prove to the college coach. Now, the coach is going to be looking for attributes that what he knows will be necessary to compete at the highest levels of college football that wouldn't be readily observable on game film when competing at a smaller school against lesser competition. These are things we know going in, so your son's going to have to really step up his game. Here's a few things to consider when deciding what's best for your son and for your family as it relates to a larger school transfer. First, what does your son want to do? Ultimately, this is his dream, and he'll have to live with the consequences of his decision. Does he remain at a smaller school where he's the starter and can make an impact, or does he seek to compete at a larger school? It's really up to him. As a parent, you should lay out the pros and cons for them, and if the impact on the family is the same, leave the decision up to him. He's the one that's going to have to live with it. What is the level of competition at his position at the larger school? Now, I would suggest you have your son evaluated by some coaches who have no vested interest in the outcome, but can provide an objective opinion about his opportunity and potential for the future. This would go so far to helping you understand whether it's worth it to transfer to the larger school. If you can do it, I would suggest scheduling a meeting with the position coach and head coach of the prospective larger school to better understand their policy on transfer competition by position. You need to know if they're even open to considering another player from the outside. You don't need a guarantee, mind you, just an understanding of the competitive process by position, the graduation flow in the depth chart, and a timeline of opportunity for your son. Now, what is the success of this prospective school in placing quarterbacks at the next level? Don't just transfer to transfer. Look at who has signed scholarships out of the prospective school as a quarterback in previous years. Now, how does your quarterback stack up to that level of competition? This should not only be your own opinion, it must be included with those you seek out to assess your son. You really need a lot of input to this process before you make the call. Now, if you can't find anyone who can give you that assessment, then we're all the way back to question one. What does your son want to do? If he believes he can compete and win the job, then that should be enough. Again, he'll have to live with the decision. As his parent, I would keep a keen eye on the academic requirements, the educational benefits of the larger school, opportunities for students from the prospective larger school as college is going to happen with or without football. You need to watch those things for him. Where do many of the football players from the prospective school's team end up in college from this high school? Talk to the guidance counselors to understand their track record of placement of the athletes. Finally, keep in mind that if your quarterback's son is competing for a position in the larger prospective school, it may mean his playing time is chopped, shared, or limited. This means any chance he'll have as a collegiate player will depend more heavily on his attendance and showing out at collegiate one-day evaluation camps and on-campus recruiting visits. These are important steps in building relationships with college coaches. So you're going to have to step up your support of getting him in front of these college coaches at camps in the off-season to assess his talent, build relationship, and get on the radar. This is so that when they see whatever varsity film he's able to earn from the larger school, they can make an informed decision on his opportunity. You're going to have to get him out there and make those relationships real. Now, the level of competition will increase on your quarterback in ways he's never imagined in everything he does. And if he's a young man that responds well and thrives to that kind of situation or challenge, then I would recommend you sincerely consider larger options. But if your son isn't sure, lacks confidence, or is non-committal about the move, then I wouldn't force a bad position. The maturation process is different for every quarterback, and that should not be ignored when deciding on such an important move. Now, transfers can happen up until the senior year if the situation becomes dire enough and if the rules allow it. And in my experience, at the point where it becomes critical, no matter what grade your son is in, he'll let you know, and you'll know when it's time to go. At that point, locate up to 3 good, larger options, meet with the school and the coaches as you're able in the off-season, keep the increase confidential to protect your son, discuss the future with his current coach and see what his plan will be for his team and what he's going to be doing. And when you have all the information, give your son a reasonable deadline to make the decision. Once the decision is made, everyone knows there's no looking back or wondering what might have been. Now, I hope that helps you some, and I know it's a big decision, so I wish you the best of luck. Now, we have one more question today from a quarterback. How do I get really good at getting to zero and extending with my wrist? Now, it would be simple to answer this question with the standard reps, 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 and more reps, or drills, 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 and more drills. But while there's certainly benefit to those things, I would add that you need your school coach or a trained NFA coach assessing your mechanics on a regular basis. This is to provide input to your progress with zero and extension to ensure you're getting the most out of your mechanics. The goal isn't change for change's sake, it's optimization. That can be done locally in regional training in your area or through NFA's distance training program using online video analysis. It's difficult to self-assess as we grow so quickly when we're young. So I would suggest another set of trusted eyes who can help that process along. You can contact us at nfacoach@gmail.com if you want our help. Also, on a foundational level, it's important to have a clear understanding of zero and extension and their benefit to the throw. Zero is the scapular or shoulder blade neutral position the arm achieves just prior to extending the forearm into the release. This location is roughly 4 to 6 inches forward and above the shoulder line at rest, between the chin and the forehead. It's a key feedback mechanism to accuracy on a throw. Extension is the wrist driving to the target past the elbow while releasing the ball with the intent to keep the nose slightly up. If either of these two elements of the release are ignored or inconsistent, power and accuracy of the motion will be compromised. Zero ensures we're in the target hallway at release, and extension pinpoints the location on the receiver's body. The key to improved zero position and extension is understanding the much-needed arm acceleration ahead of the turn of the body above the throw shoulder. Being aware of the need for aggressive arm speed increases the likelihood of achieving zero more consistently, and the extension benefits because the wrist is better positioned to pass the elbow before it fires on the way out to the target. If the arm is late coming forward on the turn because you open too fast, or it's low, the wrist is forced wider, thus making meaningful extension unlikely, and you lose the benefit of zero and extension. By understanding these two basic principles of zero and extension and applying them through proper acceleration and elevation in drills, you'll become less tentative and have more confidence to deliver more power and accuracy in your throws to the target. I do hope all this helps, and I wish you the very best in the remainder of your seasons. Keep the questions coming, as it's our joy to keep serving this way through Ask NFA. And remember, at NFA, we'll make you better, faster.